everybody, welcome back to Jimmy is Promo, and today we will be taking a look at and reviewing the brand new updated 2022 model of the Nakamichi Shockwafe 9.2.4. Now, almost exactly 3 years ago today, I shot the first video of the 2019 model of the Shockwafe 9.2.4. That was my first impression, so if you want to see exactly how I reacted to my first response, the first thoughts of having Nakamichi in a home, you'd be able to take a look at the video that's listed inside the description below. And then about a year after that, I did it in October of 2020. I had a video, a comparison or showdown of the top soundbars of that time, which was between Samsung, LG, and Nakamichi. I had a couple other friends in here, so it wasn't just my opinion. So if you guys want to watch that video, we did a showdown. They were able to listen to all three. They didn't know where the sound was coming from. I had a switcher going between the three different soundbars. So if you want to take a look at that as well, you'd be able to see how Nakamichi ranked between Samsung and also LG. So all I'm going to do in this segment here is watch a couple films, listen to a little bit of music from YouTube, also connect my phone via Bluetooth to the soundbar since it did get upgraded there as well. I'm going to give you my initial thoughts and reactions to everything that I am hearing. Just because of copyright issues, I can't really show too much or pretty much anything of some of these movies as I will get copyright stricken. Same thing with some of the audio. So I'm just going to give you my after thoughts of watching and listening to this, and I'm going to give you the comparison of how it has been changed or maybe improved versus the 2019 model, which I've used for the past 3 years. So my ear is 100% still in tune with that soundbar system. So first off, what we will be watching will be 6 Underground from Netflix. And so Netflix does offer the 4K HDR 5.1 experience. When you go through Netflix and you go through Paramount Plus and you go through a few other different channels, or if you're using a PlayStation or Xbox or Blu-ray player, you'd be able to have different sound experiences coming from how it was uploaded, where you're watching it from, or how you're streaming it, or if it's from a Blu-ray. But this is what we will be listening to here, which is 6 Underground, and I'm going to be doing the intro where he's flying the airplane. So that was pretty awesome. Even comparing it versus the 2019 model of Nakamichi 9.2.4. I mean, I am moving from that 1,000 watts to 1,300 watts, but I could just tell that there has been a massive improvement when it comes down to the clearer voices, when it comes down to not having too much bass. Sometimes it almost feels like when you turn up the bass to maybe 10 or 9, which is the max, it almost seems like even the voices is picking up a bunch of that bass. So this is a way that pretty much if there is just action going on in the scene, that bass is kind of moved to that point. And then when it comes down to the voices, it's making sure that it's still clear. And if some of that bass moves to it, you still have a very, very clear voice. And I hope that that kind of makes a little bit of sense. It almost seemed like in the 2019 model, it was almost overpowered when it comes down to adding bass just everywhere. This one is kind of a situation where it's adding the bass where it's needed. There's really no of that cut in, cut out vibration type of airy bass that you would kind of get. This is the one that you're just hitting that thumps, the hard hits. I was actually kneeling, changing the camera perspective, showing the TV. I was able to feel the vibration in the knees with just that scene there, and it was just with a little bit of music and also an airplane going through. So when it comes down to watching movies, this thing is a beast. It's as if you're just sitting inside of a movie theater. So if you want a movie theater-like experience, you're really only going to get that with Nakamichi. You will be able to get some of that surround sound experience from all the other sound systems and sound bars out there, but when you have 9.2.4, it's pretty powerful. And pretty much everything you would have to do for all of the equalizers is almost all preset on the remote itself. So basically I'm watching a movie, I'll place it onto movie. Then I'm going to turn on the Dolby surround sound. So this would either be Atmos or the uprising and everything else that you'd be able to change, native, things like that. You don't want to turn on all channels surround or all channels stereo. Then you're kind of giving almost the same input for all of all the channels. You want to have it on surround sound. So this way, if the movie is set up to where there is sound coming from the left but not the right, or if it's switching, you want to have it on that surround sound setting. And then you want to play around with that SSE, which is the spatial surround elevation, which is basically, the sound coming upwards. So you do have the SSE 0, 1, 2, and 3, depending on the size of your room. So that's exactly what 9.2.4 means. So the first number, which is 9, is how many speakers are directly at ear level. The second number, which is 9.2, so the number 2 stands for how many subwoofers, which there are 2 of them. And then the 4, the last number, is just talking about how many speakers are upward driving, giving you elevation, coming around, kind of giving you that 360 feeling. So if you do turn off your SSE and you put it at 0, you're only going to have it coming at you, not around and above you. And then right now I kind of want to show you this thing. This is a card. This is a folding card that kind of tells you everything you need to know, and this comes inside the box. So basically it'll tell you about all the upgraded connections you have, showing you how you're able to connect everything to the TV or the soundbar, the upgraded remote, and then also too how you're able to set up your room and set up the system itself with your TV. So this big fold out will be able to help anybody who needs a little additional help connecting the sound system to your TV. So now when we're listening to music, there is a few things you want to change with your remote. Also switch the equalizer over into music, and you want to use all channel stereo. So when it comes down to all channel stereo, it's going to sound much better than inside of Dolby Atmos. And you're going to have a much more balanced tone of pretty much everything you listen to. I'm going to have the bass at 10, and I'm going to turn the music up to level 26 or 30. Now, Solar Sailor sounded really good. There wasn't any vocals or anything like that. I wanted to listen to just the instruments. And so that's another thing we're gonna do with this Jurassic theme park as well, but it's kind of a different type of instruments. You know, it's the actual orchestra stuff rather than synthesized things, but it sounded really good. The tweeters and all the balance, the highs, the mids, the lows, you're gonna get everything that you want. This one has kind of a consistent bass level going through, so there's not really any hard hitting, but everything was just a solid tone. Nothing changed. There's no ins and outs. Now switching the camera around, I believe I can show you a little bit of this. And so this is a Blu-ray disc that was offered inside of the box. So you can listen to different samples of audio and video going from the Dolby Digital Plus to the Dolby True HD. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and listen to this 747 takeoff, because this thing is ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure I can show you this as well as the audio. So this was just pretty intense, almost as if there was literally a 747 taking off just right over your home, and even if you're standing outside. Oh my gosh, dude, that is crazy. I actually had the volume up to 40 and I had to move it down to like 34 because I didn't know if I was gonna like break the glass, break my windows next to me. You also have a helicopter option. You also have Centeria. It's gonna show you the version of Dolby Atmos on and off. Same thing with a rainstorm. It's gonna go between on and off for the Dolby Atmos sound. You also have Amaze and then Nature's Fury as well. So I don't know if there's any copyright on these two here just because they actually show video. And 747 takeoff, that's kind of just a generic sound I don't think can be copywritten. So this is a really cool Blu-ray disc to put into either your Xbox, PlayStation, Blu-ray player, whatever it is, to go through and play with the different modes. You know, switch it between the all-channel stereo or surround, switching it from music, movie, game, and then also to testing your spatial surround elevation. You know, go in between if you need it to be in a room size of either 1, 2, or 3. Now, when it comes down to the Bluetooth function of this newer model, the 2022 model, this is something that I do honestly use. When it comes down to the 2019 model, I only used it a couple times for testing and then again for the video, but I never really used it too often after that, maybe once or twice within those 3 years. But only having the speaker system here or the surround sound system for right around a month and a half now, I've used it about 5-6 times, and that was just by normal use and also for testing. So I do love it because it does support that that 24-bit streaming, so it has a better quality than CD-like. And also too, it has aptX HD. Beforehand, it didn't have the HD version, and it was a little bit less quality when it comes down to listening to Bluetooth. So this one has a upgraded Bluetooth version. So if you're somebody who loves to listen to music from your phone, but on bigger sound systems, you'll be happy to know that it works much better here on the 2022 version. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to mention too, for anybody who is a gamer, holy cow, sheesh. This thing is wild. When you put it into game mode for the equalizer and you're playing some game either on your PlayStation 5 or the Xbox One X, this thing is massively improved when it comes down to even the 2019 model, but really just anything in general. It sounds as if you're in the game and you almost have to turn down the volume. So if you're looking to get just engulfed in the experience of whatever game that you are playing, this thing is pretty wild inside of that game mode. Now, taking a look at the unboxing, you will receive everything that you would ever need, from a huge quick start guide to everything being individually wrapped and individually labeled. So you would know if it is a cable that is used for the subwoofer, for the soundbar itself, or for any of those surround sound speakers, for the sides or for the rear. Now, you'll also receive all 4 of those surround sound speakers, the soundbar, and obviously those 2 huge 10-inch wireless subwoofers. So here's everything laid out. You'd be able to notice between your digital optical cable, HDMI cable, the surround sound speakers, rear speakers, the subwoofer, soundbar, and then also the remote. Now on the rear speakers, you are able to choose if you want it to be as dipole or 9-channel. It just kind of depends on how your room setup is. Everything is labeled between the right speaker to the left speaker, for the sides and for the rears. Now this is what the back of the subwoofer looks like. You're able to plug in the back and surround sound, the power switch, as well as the power cable adapter. On the back of the soundbar, you will have your DC input. There's your digital optical input, USB, coaxial, as well as auxiliary port. And then you also have all 4 of your HDMIs. So you have HDMI 1, 2, 3, and 4. Most importantly, you want to make sure you locate the one that is labeled as eARC. So here are all of the upgrades, improvements, and changes between the 2019 Shockwafe Ultra 9.2 SSE and the brand new 2022 version Shockwafe Ultra 9.2 eARC. So when it comes down to the power output, it has been improved from that 1000 watt to 1300 watts. So you are gaining that 300 watt between those 2 10-inch subs. You'll also have extended range, updated drivers, giving you that crystal clear dialogue, as well as louder, more distinct, lifelike surround effects. And then also the tweeters have been upgraded so they sound more cleaner, crisper, and natural sounding highs. And talking about those 10-inch subwoofers, they are wireless, and so you will be upgrading from the 470 watts to the now 600 watts. Also as well, back with the 2019 model, they were able to go as low as 30 hertz, and now you're able to go as low as 20 hertz for extreme room shaking bass. And honestly, when it comes down to some of the things I've listened to and watched, the ground is shaking because I have those 10-inch subwoofers, across from each other in the living room. And then also the upgraded HDMI. So on the 2019 model, you did have HDMI 2.0, and now you have HDMI 2.1, which is eARC, which will be able to handle lossless high-resolution audio formats. And then also Bluetooth. We talked a little bit about Bluetooth as well. So on the 2019 model, it had Bluetooth 4.1. So it had the 1 megabit per second, which is up to also 30 feet for range. But now you have Bluetooth 5.0, which is double the data rate, as well as 4 times the range distance. Now the 2019 model, it did support aptX or aptX, which supports 16-bit streaming, or right around that CD quality sound, which is about 352 kilobits per second. Now you have the aptX HD, which supports 24-bit streaming, which is better than CD sound quality, right around 576 kilobits per second. Now, taking a look at my setup where everything is placed, this is a fairly large or maybe medium-sized living room. I have the soundbar directly below the TV. I do have both of these subwoofers on either side of the room, pretty much almost, right next to where we would sit with the couch. So one of them is hiding behind the couch. The other one is just right out in the open. I do have the rear surround sound speakers behind all of us, just facing forward. And then also the 2 side surround sound speakers, again, on the other side of the rooms. Both of them are right next to the wireless subwoofers, directly facing inward. Now, if you are looking for speaker stands like the ones that I have here in this video, I bought them off of Amazon. I will be placing a link below the video inside the description. You can click on those, see if these are the ones you want to use. I use these for both models of Nakamichi, the 2019 and 2022 models. They're perfect because they can change in height. You can bring them lower, bring them higher. They're very low profile. The speaker cord goes through the pole itself and then out the back, and everything just works fantastically no matter which, AV cables you use. If you use the ones from the box or from different speaker cables from Amazon that you may also have, they do a really good job and I highly suggest them. Here's a quick comparison of the old remote versus the new remote, with the new remote being on the right hand side and also much easier to use. Towards the top is all of your sources. Then below that is your equalizer modes. Then you also have a red and blue button for the all-channel stereo versus the surround sound button. You also have your SSE buttons to go from 0 through 3, depending on the size of your room. You can change the bass and volume level. Then you can go through, customize your surround sound versus the back speakers or the front speakers, and also 3 memory buttons. So what do you guys think of this review? Hopefully I was able to cover pretty much everything that you guys would also expect and also like. I do really wish I'd be able to just really put this entire sound through this microphone, through whatever speaker you are listening and watching from. This is just such a really great experience. And also too, I wish I could show you some of the footage of some of the movies I was watching, but everybody knows the whole copyright strike thing. So it's not really for the monetization portion of this video. It is for the fact that it would be taken down from YouTube, stricken, and then also too, I don't want to have any flags or anything against me. So I wasn't able to show any of those clips, but this thing is truly amazing. I'm sure in the future I'll probably have a couple friends come over, give their opinion as well if needed, but I believe I've already had that covered in the 2020 video, the one where I compared Samsung, LG, and Nakamichi, the best sound systems at that time. And now here we are with the upgraded version where pretty much everything has been improved. I kind of feel like this thing is definitely more sensitive and also more accurate than the 2019 model. So again, thank you Nakamichi for sending this out for the review. This thing is fantastic and hopefully you guys also like this video. And if you guys have any questions, write your comments below the video inside the comment section. I'll be able to answer pretty much anything that you would like to know. But this thing is a beautiful masterpiece of putting a theater sound in your home. But if you guys appreciated this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit on subscribe on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you appreciate this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.